Welcome back. If you're new to the sport of karting and your only experience is on indoor circuits, then this programme will be a bit of an eye-opener for you. The technology on offer to the drivers is changing all the time, and at the International Kart Show back in November, PI Research gave Alan a preview of their new data logging system.
What we've got here is the new kart kit from PI with a new compact logger. How it works is we have a dash display which will take in a rev input, a speed input. It's obviously battery driven. That will give the driver an instant display of what the engine temperature is doing on the kart. It will give him a rev display. It will also give him his lap time. Enables him then to see exactly where the temperature of the kart is lying, which is obviously quite critical. What the dash can do is deliver the information that the driver sees on the screen down to a compact flash card which is mounted inside the logger, which is underneath the NASA panel. This is then removed from the compact logger and placed into a card reader, which automatically offloads the data from the card into the Club Expert Windows program. This is then analysed by the driver or mechanic to see exactly what the speed, RPM or any temperature readings would have been on the kart at any given point around the track. Obviously moving the cursor on the screen moves the crosshair around the track, enabling them to pinpoint any critical areas that they need to analyse on the kart.
Impressive technology indeed. Jamie Crease is on pole for the last race of the day. Steve Cash on P2. Martin Lyle from Scotland on P3. Dean Golber on 4. Steve Morton is on P5. Matt Bell, former national junior champion, on 6. Luke Cordell is the current British Open champion. He's on 7. Jack Oldham on 8. Wayne McCauley comes next on 9. Ian Walmsley on 10. Mark Poulter is on 11. Chris Cash on 12. Anthony Lester is on 13. Paul Monk's always strong here on 14. James Duxbury, 3-time Gold Cup winner, on 15. Phil Smith alongside. Then comes Chris Burton and Rick Wilkinson. Adrian Devry on 19. Chris Prescott on P20. Then comes Dave Targett and Paul Phelan. And the grid is rounded out by Andrew Gorman, James Taylor, and on P25, Noel Devery. 25 karts for the only senior race of the day. Phil Smith carrying it on board, as is James Duxbury, number 15. TKM Extreme for drivers aged in the year of their 16th birthday, so aged 15 and over. Duxbury into the rear of Leicester. Here's Smith through turn 1. Oh, and he's off already, and he'll have to drive over the top of the circuit now, and that's put Smith, one of the main contenders for the championship, out of contention. Back on board with Duxbury through the hairpin, making up places. 78 in front. That's one of 3 solar lubricant supported karts in this race. It's Dean Golber. He's starting on 4. He's down to around about 7th place so far. The O plate is Luke Cordell. He's the British Open champion. Carries the O plate, which denotes he is the TKM Extreme British Open champion. Also won the festival in 2003 as a junior. Never raced on this circuit before, surprisingly. We see Duxbury up the inside of Golber, making another place. And Duxbury's had a cracking start, started 15th inside of Golber through turn 1. He's already up to 6th place, just over 1 lap gone. So any thoughts that the leading drivers at the front of the field, the likes of Lyle, who drew P3, Bell, who drew 6, and Cordell, who drew 7, of getting away from Duxbury, those thoughts are over, quite frankly. We're back on board with Duxbury. Looking at the rear end of Jamie Crease, the pole man, makes short work of him. And coming down Rogerson, Smith's back into the action. We're on board with Smith, off in turn 1, of course, earlier on. 43 blocking the path is Dave Targett, alongside 33 Adrian Devery, the second Solar Lubricants kart there. Duxbury has passed Luke Cordell, the British Open champion, and Duxbury's on the charge. 3 Gold Cups in his cabinet at home, as well as numerous club championships, as we see McCauley up the inside of Lyle for the lead spot. Some real quality in this field all the way through, and 5 of the top drivers occupy the 5 top spots. One driver that would like to get in amongst them is Paul Monks. He's usually strong at this circuit as well, but he's got a bit of work to do. Not as much as Phil Smith, though. Number 93 is well down the field after his off in turn 1. Leicester down the inside of Oldham, contact! Oh, Leicester over the top of Oldham. Walmsley's got caught up in that as well. Oh, here come the recriminations. Arms in the air. Now, Oldham will say, let's have a look at the replay. Oldham will say Leicester came from nowhere, took him out. Leicester will say, I was up the inside and he turned in on me, Mr. Blair. Now, here's the arm waving. There you go. Ian Walmsley gets it going again, 47. Meanwhile, out front, looks like Lyle's got the lead back. He has. Cracking race this is developing into for the lead group. 68 is Macaulay. Obviously, Duxbury's through to third place. Make that second as they go through turn one. Gives Macaulay a nudge through past Lyle. Standard sort of fair. Back on board with Phil Smith. Seemed to get a bit of a nudge there through the corner. He's got Steve Cash to deal with in front. Back on board now with Duxbury. 68 Wayne Macaulay out front. Gap between Cordlin 5th, Mux in 6th, 1.57 seconds. So these five well clear. Anthony Lester trying to get it going. Out of Luna onto the main straight. Duxbury looks for the inside move. Looks like he's going to take the lead. He does so. Slides through to the lead. Bell slides through to third as well. Drops Lyle back to fourth. British Open champion Caudle still there in 5th place. Not much to choose between them though. You can throw a blanket over the lot of them pretty much. Monk's trying to get closer. 39 is Matt Bell. He's a former British junior champion in junior TKM intermediate class. Monks and Goldber 6th and 7th. There comes Crease. He was the poleman. Phelan, Burton, Smith's getting in on the action. He's up to 11th. Here comes Morton, Gorman, Steve Cash, Devery, Target, and then Chris Cash. 23 Jack Oldham gets a push to get started again. He's off and running. Later in the race, Adrian Devery battling with James Taylor. 16 is Poulter, 94 Wilkinson. Later still, these are the leaders around Dunlop for another time. Still Duxbury out front, withstanding the pressure being applied by Macaulay. And strong pressure it is too. Bell and Lyle still right there. Caudle just dropping off. 3 or 4 kart lengths now. 57 and 61 battling down the field. The two Stevens, Morton and Cash, they're closely followed by Adrian Devery. Gap between Caudle and Monks, 5th to 6th, 1.29 seconds now. Caudle with a bit of work to do to get back to this lead group. Macaulay's just put in the fastest lap, 43.026 as Lyle goes up the inside of Bell. He poses Bell back from 3rd to 4th, then gives the push signal. Love it. Here's the information on screen we promised to give you again earlier on. Pick up the phone, send an email, or check out the websites for information on how to start karting in the UK. There are circuits all over the country. Wherever you live, there is bound to be a circuit within driving distance of you. All the information is available on the websites karting.co.uk and kartingmagazine.com has lots of information there. Order yourself a DVD from Graham Smith at the ABKC. All of the information you need to get involved in the sport will be available free of charge. Still Duxbury out front from Macaulay, then Lyle and Bell. Caudle in 5th. Caudle not quite matching the pace of the front four. He's a 10th or 2 off, that's all. But that's just enough to drop him back slightly. It is, however, his first attempt at this circuit, so he will get stronger as the season goes on. Make no mistake about that whatsoever. Caudle will be a player as we go into the last lap. It's still Duxbury that holds on from Macaulay. Now what's Macaulay going to do about Duxbury's lead? He's 4 or 5 kart lengths off, so he's not close enough to have a look here in the hairpin. Lyle defending vigorously into Dunlop, takes the narrow line. Bell looks for a switch back outside inside. Lyle has a quick look over his shoulder. Caudle gets a couple of kart lengths closer, but I don't think he's going to end up any closer than 5th. Duxbury's done enough. He's got 4 kart lengths now coming down Rogerson's into the left-hander at Luna. That's Lyle. Lyle looks safe for 3rd, so I think this is the way it's going to finish. It is. Duxbury's going to take this one. Early celebration, as usual from Duxbury, very cheeky. Caudle's there in 5th place. Monks finishes 6th. Goldber, I tell you what, Dean Goldber's only been racing 18 months. That is a good 7th place finish for Dean Goldber, no doubt about it. At this sort of level, after 18 months of racing, to finish 7th in that sort of company and that close is a good result. James Duxbury takes the win. Macaulay with the fastest lap, 43.026. Martin Lyle rounds out the podium, followed in by Bell, Caudle, Monks, Goldber, Phelan, Jamie Crease the poleman, and in 10th place, Chris Burton. After the race, Sam caught up with the top 3.
Martin Lyle, Wayne Macaulay, and on the top step, 3-time Gold Cup winner James Duxbury. Talk us through it.
It was an interesting race start from the back. We had to cut through the field, we had a good start, and then once we hit the lead, just pushed and pushed, but towards the end of the race the pressure was getting there. Just managed to hold on for the finish.
Well, that's nearly all we have time for today, but just enough time for our Driver of the Day award. Sam, who would you go for?
I think I'm going to have to go for James Duxbury. Fantastic race. Started 15th, finished first. Wonderful.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that, but for me it has to be Matthew Gibson. Started 15th, worked his way up to took third on the very, very last lap. Brilliant. But as always, the decision lies with our race commentator, Alan Taddy-Eye. Alan, who are you going to award the first AutoSign Graphics Driver of the Day award to?
Well, Duxbury's performance was wonderful, at least I think that's what Sam was referring to, his performance, but frankly I expect that of him. He's a 3-time Gold Cup winner, so I can't justify the award there. Matt Gibson's 15th to 3rd was equally deserving. To these I'll add a couple more names into the mix. Josephine Ferrada gave new investors Advanced Composites a run for their money with a puncture for most of the race, still finishing 4th. Danny Murphy 19th to 5th in the same race, and Jack Vanderpump a name to look out for in the future. But the race of the day was in the cadet class, and 2 names here really impressed me. Abigail Jerry came from 19th to 2nd and was still well up into the last lap before an incident ended her challenge. She ended 27th. But for the driver of the day, look no further than Liam Kelly. Started 23rd, up with the lead pack into 2nd before being pushed out wide, back down to 6th, having to do it all again. He had the lead in the last lap before contact pushed him back to 3rd, which is where he finished. My driver of the day, Liam Kelly.
Thanks, Alan. Well, that's all we have time for today. We'll see you again next month, and we'll see if the winners this time can do it all again, starting from the back of the grid. We'll see you then.
Goodbye.